All right, that's that, bro. Hey, you've been told. You've been told. I'm about to do my speech. So now that you've been told, you think I'm a second-class citizen and my words don't count. I just told you what it is. You're about to hear something, and that's that. Hello, hello. It's your boy Dot Vizzle, aka Dot V, aka Mr. Alameda, Mr. 510. Real locals over here. And I'm here to tell you something. I'm here to tell you that this guy is not a Berkeley student. So me and him just got into a little thing. But check this out. What I'm doing here is I'm advocating for homelessness. I'm advocating for diversity. And I'm advocating for racial equity. And in my advocation for homelessness, diversity, and racial equity, I'm advocating for People's Park. People's Park is part of what makes you guys special and makes you guys Berkeley. And fighting for People's Park is part of what makes you guys Cal Bears. And I just want to remind you guys that no other school will fight for People's Park. No other school, not SF State, not Santa Barbara, not UCLA. And I strongly encourage you guys to consider that it is your responsibility to fight for People's Park to stay alive.
Hello, I'm Jackson here, and 我是杨一轩。您正在收看一部关于加州伯克利人民公园53年抵抗的纪录片。
カリフォルニア・バークレー市の人民公園についての53年間の弾圧についてのドキュメンタリーです。
Hello, you are watching 53 Years of Resistance, a documentary about People's Park, brought to you by Los Rockers and Alaco Film. Movie time.
Bueno, este documental es acerca de este parque que se llama el Parque de la Gente, en español, The People's Park. Y en este parque se hacían un festival que se llamaba Hip Hop en el Parque. Y ellos nos brindaron la oportunidad y la plataforma de venir a cantar aquí muchas veces. Este Hip Hop People's Park es muy importante en la historia de los Racas, del principio de la historia de los Racas, y es triste que lo estén derrumbando, porque se va a perder mucha historia. ¿Tú me entiendes?
Hold up. Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy David, aka Dot Vizzle, and I'm presenting to you the People's Park documentary, 53 Years of Resistance. But you know what? There's rich Bay Area history, and everywhere in the world, the people know their history. But here in the Bay Area, there's a ton of people that don't know nothing about the streets that they walk on. So I'm doing this documentary, man. And in this building right here, I met Kendrick Lamar, I met Nas, I met Damian Marley, okay? I seen the legends. I seen and shook hands with the Jack. Rest in peace to the Jack. Rest in peace to the J.A. So I'm telling you how it go, man. This is why I do what I do. I've always been a poet. I've always been poetic. But it wasn't until I seen Kendrick Lamar in action where I was like, wow, a poet could be a rapper. You get what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I seen the Jack in person where I was like, man, you know, I could be a legend just like that dude that walked past me. You feel me? So this is the birthplace of real hip-hop in the Bay Area. Hip-hop in the park, okay? Hip-hop in California has always respected this corner I'm standing on right now. And, you know, it's just gonna continue. So, with that, I share a poem for you. In 2009, when they killed Oscar Grant, we had to take the freeway, we had to take a stand. We had to let the world know that we ain't gonna take it. They killed a handcuffed man and we gonna make him famous. You want him to be nameless, but we remember names. Rest in peace to Oscar Grant, we remember names. And when they kill one of yours, we gonna do the same. And it's my commitment. Fuck the system, man. Yeah, so for those that don't know, Hip Hop in the Park, yeah, what was it like, man? How would you describe it?
It's like, shit, I was still like beginning, you know, my career. So it was one of the places where we like performed and got to showcase our talent. And it was like, it felt like, you know, like hippie.
Yeah.
Had like a hippie ass vibe. But you had all kind of different rappers. You know, you had the turf rappers. You had the fucking the hippie rappers. It was just a vibe, bro. It was just the Bay Area culture, like right there in that little ass park.
Right.
I guess it was just more like competitive for me. You feel me? Like you seen everybody doing their thing, it makes you want to do your thing. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man. Hip Hop in the Park was on one of the few first platforms that gave us an opportunity to come perform, man. You know what I mean, in front of people, and those people gave us so much energy, so much good energy and confidence that we took that all over the world. You know what I mean?
So on camera, I'm pretty much gonna show you guys. The park is right here. Park is right there, right? And some of you guys might be wondering, well, why'd you throw Kendrick Lamar in the video? You know, because I'm gonna show you how close to People's Park Kendrick Lamar was when I snuck into the show. You know, so we're just gonna count to 10 real quick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I'm already where Kendrick was. You feel me? I'm here to show you guys where I was at when I snuck into the Kendrick Lamar concert. I snuck in this little crevice right here. What's up, man? It's your boy David. I don't have a ticket to the Kendrick Lamar thing, and I'm at Rasputin's right now in Berkeley. I'm about to sneak into the show, stay here, and maybe even say what's up to him before I go to church. Some people just got escorted out by security. It's getting hot. I need to keep my camera off and really just do the damn thing and get out there. I wish I could show you all the security, but basically right now I'm in an area where I gotta get past one security guard and then I get past the second one and just blend in with the crowd. And I'm about to do it. I wish I could get this on camera. Peace. And I waited until the security was no longer standing here, and I jumped out and I ran. And I went up the stairs, and then at this point I just ran into the crowd.
Just to say, Money Trees is the perfect place for shading. That's just how I feel.
I want to tell y'all, this is not only a special occasion, not only for me, but it's a special occasion for all of us. Just because they said we'd never be back in the forefront of the game, you dig what I'm saying? The West Coast in general, you dig what I'm saying? Everybody's doing their thing. The Bay, LA, we all one. And we killing the game right now, you dig that? We smashing the game right now, you know what I mean? And they got to deal with it, they got to accept it, you know what I'm saying? Because we are Good Kid, Mad City. Love y'all. So let's get it cracking.
So everybody can get a turn. After your autograph, please leave the store. Thank you very much for your cooperation. So everybody can have a chance. Thank you.
Good job, son.
All right, we on our way. Yeah. Oh wow, this is it. This is where all the legends have stood. Man, I'm honored to be standing right where all the legends in the Bay Area have stood. And more than just the legends in the Bay Area, some of the biggest legends in hip-hop in general have stood here. And I got some footage, some special footage of Kendrick Lamar. Hold on, let me move this. I'm gonna share with you some footage of Kendrick Lamar standing right here, looking over this. Hey. So I'm gonna do it like this, man. I could not make this up. They treat us like we slaves, stuck neath them, and it ain't no luck. I wonder what happened to the day. You didn't need white permission to get away. You didn't need white provision to get paid. They took our culture and made mandates. Afro-Latinos can't get on stage. It's your boy, Davizzle. But what I just did was I shared with you a poem. Same place, same spot as Kendrick Lamar. I'm trying to tell you something. The legends care about certain things. The reasons why we need to fight for People's Park is because all the legends cared about it. So if you don't understand why the legends care about what they care about, just support them until you figure out why later, man. It's your boy Don V. This was brought to you by Rasputin Music. Come to Rasputin and get you a CD, hard copy. Even if you don't have a CD player in your car, come buy a CD, hard copy. Just for the simple fact that you're not a lame.
Like we used to sell our CDs right around the corner at Rasputin's.
Yeah.
Bust raps in the corners, you know what I mean? Get people to put money in the pockets, you know what I mean? People will buy our CDs on the corners. We'll go to Blondie's Pizza right down the street to go eat some pizza, some cheap pizza, but hella good. Hella good ass pizza, you feel me? And then go right back to the corner, do it again, to the point that we ended up putting our CDs in Rasputin's and Amoeba. Feel me? Like, we went over there with our CDs and talked to Balance. Because Balance is the man over there. I don't know if he still works over there, but he's the one that like picks this, says yay or nay, right? So he's like, yes, give me, you know, I forgot what amount he asked for. Boom, we left it over there, sold out, you know, did it at Amoeba. Now, and we were like 18 years old, you know, we were kids.
Selling your first hard copies.
Yeah, man. They always show love too. First, we used to stand in front of our spirit and sell our CDs. Till we finally talked to my brother Balance and my brother Coach. You know what I mean? And they bought a few CDs. I don't remember if we put it on consignment. I think we might have put it on consignment first, you know, and then once they saw that the CDs were selling, you know, they bought it from us a wholesale price, and yeah, man, used to put our covers on the top. Rasputin's and Amoeba definitely Paulo Raga's history, man.
About to go dummy on a dummy, what? Treat him like a welterweight and stuff for Mr. Trunks. You fucking with a giant. I'm Forrest Whitaker sparring with some Forrest Gumps. What you want?
Yeah. Look how good I look, man. It's Lil B. Yeah. Hey, check this. I remember in the hood, I was locked down, Oakland, Yosemite. Having wild A dreams, the pen right ahead of me. Now I'm getting glad that you niggas ain't ahead of me. And you never be forgetting me. Hard drive, man, it's all about the memory. Strapped with a vest, screaming, motherfuck my enemies. Have them moving like a centipede. I'm the weed man, so you know I got the remedy. Plus I'm a user, dope fiend music. Plus I'm a robber and I dare you suckers push me. Got the same pistol that they shooting. I'm too nice. I'm the wrong rapper. I'm done.
You see something in Lil B that other people don't?
I know Lil B. He's a real dude. And y'all understand what he's doing later on. But I know him. He got the same spirit as I got. He's just going about it different. You dig what I'm saying? And it's gonna work for him, believe me.
He is a serious character, though.
Yeah, man, he's an interesting guy. Interesting guy.
He's probably the first guy to come with the public curse. Like who else? Who's publicly cursed people?
I don't know, and it's worked.
That's what's crazy. Is
It's bold just to have that in your arsenal. Yeah. I'm saying of insults or beef, like to be the first. Like if somebody said like, Joe, this dude was talking shit about you, and you're like, that's fine. I just cursed that motherfucker. Like that in and of itself is just
terrifying.
Yeah,
especially if it works.
It's a confident move, man.
I want to say that the base god's curse is gone from Kevin Durant.
Oh,
the Thunder are free now to win future games. You can't win hating. And I like how he signs all of his tweets, Lil B.
Yeah.
He signs them
and that's
all.
Okay, so he took that off a while ago. I didn't realize it was that long ago. But I remember when it happened, I was like, ooh, it's not good.
Lil B, People's Park song.
Lil B, People's Park song. Yeah. That was dope. That was dope.
Yeah, you know.
People's Park.
People's Park. I'm standing on top of the bullshit. Hey, 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 hey.
I got news for Berkeley. The bass god has spoken. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Lil B, the bass god, has officially dropped a song about People's Park. And, you know, I don't know if you guys know, Lil B, he cursed Kevin Durant, and he said that you ain't gonna win a championship until the curse is lifted. So now, I'm afraid that UC Berkeley might have to answer to the bass god. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this is the final word, the final verdict, okay? If you are against People's Park, you're just uncool. You know, I came out here for hours and hours and gave a million reasons, but at this point, your coolness is 100% at stake here. If you are against People's Park, you're not cool, and that is across the board. It goes like this. People's Park. Yeah, People's Park. People's Park. Yeah, People's Park.
Upset with the move, blocked construction equipment and faced off with police. Around 10 a.m., crews began cutting down trees in the park.
Justice Department initiative.
That move upset protesters who began shaking the fence and trying to break through. At least one man was taken into custody for climbing over the fence. Protesters did manage to break through at one point, setting off a clash with police, who then cleared the roadway. For people who want to keep People's Park the way it was, the university's plans are unacceptable.
It's a tragedy. It's a shame. It's a power play. It's not over yet. I'm not afraid to get arrested. I've been beaten by the police. I'm not afraid of that either.
Like I said, is this even a beat or is this life, man?
For those of you that don't know who Lil B is, shame on you. You got to know who Lil B is. If you don't know who Lil B is, you ain't real B-Town. Bottom line is you are not cool if you are against the bass guy, okay?
I came to People's Park about 32 years ago. I was a teenager at the time. This was right before the Rodney King rebellion. And I walked in and I met some elders from the Black Panther Party. One of them was Melvin Dixon, who I met at People's Park. He started the commemorator newspaper of the Black Panther Party in 1990, the year after Huey P. Newton, founder of the Black Panther Party, had been killed. And I met Melvin, and he began to teach me a lot of history. I didn't know that Berkeley was a very conservative place. I didn't know that everybody thinks that Berkeley is this like progressive place, but no, it was so repressive that students had to stand up for a free speech movement. And then there was a movement of like, it shouldn't just be white men speaking, it should be everyone having the right to speak. So a lot of the movements for change internationally came out of Berkeley as well. And so that history and that legacy is precious. It's almost like a mecca for free speech and civil rights. But when I got there in the 90s, UC Berkeley wanted to build a $3 million volleyball court. They wanted to import rich sand in the 90s, and we couldn't believe it. And we couldn't believe that the history hadn't been passed on of this place, that they got to get away with it. And what we've always never respected is people that happen to not have a lot of economic means. We don't even analyze why. We don't even call them poor. We have horrible names. We call them hobos. We even label if they happen to have health addictions to things, we call them crackheads. Like, we use the most horrible language to talk about human beings that are struggling with substance abuse and that might be without a home. So the experience I had in Berkeley in the 1990s is that we pimped the struggle of People's Park and we pimped the struggle of the free speech movement, and they would sell $35 tie-dye Save the Whales t-shirts in Berkeley. And people would wear them and think it was the coolest thing to do, to go hang out at People's Park. And they would step over homeless people to do so, that they couldn't see, that's my brother and that's my sister.
I also want to show you guys this little sign that I'm in front of. A lot of people haven't seen it. This little sign, it's a metal plaque right here. It's the Mario Savio Steps. I've gone around campus and I've asked a lot of people to describe to me who Mario Savio is, and a lot of people don't know. But Mario Savio is as instrumental in civil rights as Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And guess what? He was a UC Berkeley student. So Mario Savio is famous for saying, we are not raw material, we are human beings. So UC Berkeley used to treat its students a little bit like raw material, where they would guarantee people what they were going to teach and how they were going to act.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
It just amazes me with everything else that's going on in this world, especially involving the U.S. That's what you're concerned about, my man.
The battle over free speech in the NFL may be new, but it has direct ties to the fight waged by a coalition of UC Berkeley students from across the political spectrum known as the Free Speech Movement. The FSM started in the fall of 1964 after the Berkeley administration banned all political activity on campus. The FSM's goal was a complete repeal of the ban, but the energy that drove the movement came from deeper grievances. Students were fed up with a university that treated education like an industry.
What the railroads did for the second half of the last century and the automobile for the first half of this century may be done for the second half of this century by the knowledge industry.
So when Berkeley handed down its ban on political activity, it inadvertently galvanized thousands of frustrated students into active rebellion. The fight started over some small tables on a sidewalk where students would raise money for political causes they supported.
The university's function is the encouragement and the dissemination of ideas. And these silly little card tables, for me, was part of my education. I had a right to that, just as I had a right to go to class.
When a former student was arrested for setting up one of these tables, a 32-hour standoff ensued, students surrounding the police car to prevent it from leaving. It wasn't just liberals that came out in support. The movement brought together everyone from the campus Republicans and Students for Goldwater to the Socialist Party and Women for Peace.
But the most impressive thing about the free speech movement, and I had the inside view, I was at every meeting, everyone understood that the key to our strength was our unity and worked really hard to maintain that.
Months of protests and failed negotiations culminated in a massive sit-in at Sproul Hall, where the FSM's leader, Mario Savio, gave an iconic speech about halting the gears of President Kerr's so-called knowledge factory.
I ask you to consider, if this is a firm, and if the Board of Regents are the Board of Directors, and if President Kerr in fact is the manager, and I tell you something, the faculty are a bunch of employees, and we're the raw materials, but we're a bunch of raw materials that don't mean to end up being bought by some clients of the university, be they the government, be they industry, be they organized labor, be they anyone, or human beings.
800 students were arrested at Sproul. The action eventually forced the administration to repeal its ban on political activity. And that success inspired a massive wave of protests and campus takeovers at schools across the country. Today, NFL players are fighting for the same things the FSM did: the right to protest and the right to keep both their professional identities and their personal beliefs in the face of those who would deny them one or the other.
Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy, Mr. 510. And I just want to say, man, I went to 510 Skate Shop yesterday, bro. And I asked them to be a part of this documentary, and they laughed at me, bro. I was like, dude, y'all ain't real Berkeley. They looked at me crazy. I'm like, yeah, what you laughing for? Y'all boosie.
I heard someone at Thrasher said I wasn't the culture. Shit, I'ma have to show them. I heard someone at Van said I wasn't the culture. And they try to act like that they don't know us. I see that shit and I got to show them.
Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy, Davizzle. I heard someone at Van said Lil B wasn't the culture. I heard someone at Thrasher said Lil B wasn't the culture.
That's real. And I don't know if they understand.
Man, so I'm finna walk out the door, put 5 on it. Oh, cause you know I'm gonna blow. Oh! I heard somebody advance said Lil B wasn't the culture. What's wrong with you, boy? Better take that back.
Oh, I ain't talking about bows and arrows. They not real 510. They're here for rich people to buy skate shoes that no one can afford. It's some bullshit. And like Lil B said, I heard somebody at Thrasher and Vance say I wasn't the culture. Lil B himself can't even come over here and get no free pair of shoes. Lil B himself can't even go over there and get no free pair of shoes. So he said it, he let it be known. I'm parked right there in front of Bay Jitsu, way by my car if you want to talk to me with the cameras off. But at the end of the day, 510, bow and arrows. You guys don't care about poor people. You guys don't care about poor people. And skateboarding has always been about fuck a job. Fuck a job. I'm a skater. But I'm here to tell you guys, you bitch ass better not never come back to fucking People's Park and throw your fucking skate jam. Acting like you're fucking down with the poor. Fuck that.
Like, it's a very serious thing, dude.
So you heard my speech. Do you think I was going crazy, or did you feel like I was hitting the nail on the head?
No, you wasn't going crazy at all, man. No, you was hitting it right on. Like, they're trying to be all high and mighty and shit, just because they run a fucking skate shop. And like you said, they sell fucking $100 shoes and shit like that. Can't no fucking skater afford $100 shoes every month? If I was skating, dude, do you know how many fucking shoes I run through in a month? About 2 pairs of fucking shoes in a month. We need some $40 pair of shoes. You know, decks, I can understand, get a little bit of expensive. Wood cost and fucking pressing it and all that shit. I can pay $60 for a deck. That's worth it. But shoes, you know,
for skaters,
$100 pants and shit. I ain't paying $100. You see these pants right here? Walmart, $30.
You already know what's up, man. It's your boy Davizzle. I got my Vans on, but they look like sneakers. Lil B put Vans on the map. But if you want to talk it out, we could walk down the street, and you'll see what I'm talking about. We could go to People's Park, and we could spark it after dark, but you gotta know, right here, that's the revolution start. That's where revolution happened, freedom of the speech. You already know, man, you acting like some geeks. Freedom of speech, freedom of speech. UC Berkeley, man, quit acting like a geek.
People's Park. Yeah, People's Park. People's Park. Yeah, People's Park. People's Park. People's Park. People's Park. People's Park. I'm in the streets like Ninja Cat. People's Park in Berkeley, California. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, he said he was in the streets like Ninja Cat. That's dope, man. Shout out Lil B, shout out Ninja Cat, man. Shout out the People's Park.
What's up, man? Tell them who you are, man. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Ninja Kitty. I've been protecting this park for 16 years.
So are you the Ninja Cat from the... I'm in the streets like Ninja Cat.
I am the Ninja Cat from the Little B song, for sure. That's me.
So, is it true that Lil B came here and saw you and spoke with you? How'd that conversation go?
Oh man, it was a beautiful conversation. We talked about the souls of the trees and the power of the people and how this was the symbol of the power of the people. It still is. I mean, we still hear there's still trees growing. Like, it ain't over. Like, they act like it's the first time they came, but it ain't. And this is what we talked about. You know, we talked about how it ain't hopeless. They've done this before. They can't stop us.
Right.
It's 53 years of resistance. Do it 100 more.
So what was his reaction to the information you were giving him about when you updated him?
You know, he was looking around and you could tell he could really feel how these trees are our brothers and how this park really was a sanctuary for all the outcasts and anybody in general. I mean, it was never weird here, bro. You could always show up and kick it.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you was chill, it was chill. You know? Like, that's how it's always been.
Right.
And you could see that he knew that's what it was. You could see he could feel the community and he could feel the real like pain in our hearts after seeing such a beautiful place destroyed in such a way. You know, he'd been around for a long time. He remembers this park when it was glorious, man.
Right. Do you want to talk about how this is a part of skate culture, but you wouldn't necessarily see the new age skaters really caring about it, but it's got a skate history. But I mean, how does that?
And the people in this park, man, we have a long history with skateboarding. A lot of us do skateboard. You see the homegirl over there with her skateboard right now. Like, you know, we kept fucking 510 afloat in the 90s, man. Like, we even used to have a fucking skate event right here up and down the street, and we got down with it too. Like, you know, a lot of us are skaters. A lot of us are part of that it's a counterculture, man. And we all the same, bro. Like, you thrash on your skateboard, and we thrash on our skateboard, you know. We all just trying to chill. And fuck the police.
For sure. So what are you guys doing today? What's the plan?
Today there's a meet and greet. They're calling it a town and gown greeting. And what we're doing is we're showing up as the town to meet the gown, to tell them, man, y'all need to stop bringing more students than we can house. Like, shame on UC for even having homeless students.
Because I'm your constituent to get paid. All I want for you is to either support People's Park or to make sure that residents on South Side, our elders too, can go to the university for safety, making sure they get transportation to hospitals, making sure they get water, lights. We do not have that. We don't have that yet, and yes, we don't have that yet, and it's a shame that you haven't done it for the last 6 years. But this is a disrespectful engagement. I hope you see that.
Nancy, can I ask you a question?
That's real, and I don't know if they understand how I really feel. It's Lil B. People's Park. People's Park. People's Park. Man, they comparing me to Public Enemy or something. Man. They saying Lil B. They talking about Lil B like Public Enemy, the greatest of all time type. That's how they talk about the bass guy. That's real, man. You know, I want to shout out Berkeley, California, and everybody. You feel me? West Berkeley, walking up and down University. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all the culture. You feel me? Everybody that's going to Cal Berkeley, y'all the culture, all the students. Y'all making that change, y'all the culture. Berkeley High, y'all the culture. You know what I'm saying? Longfellow, y'all the culture. Albany, y'all the culture. Yeah, I said it, Albany, California. El Cerrito, California. Richmond, California. San Francisco, California. Oakland, California. Berkeley, California. We the culture. The whole world. Bay Area, the whole world, West Coast. I said we the culture. Lil B, I know the bass guy, man. I said we the culture. If I said we the culture, it's real, man. Like I said, is this even a beat or is this life, man?
Yeah, man. Why would they cut the trees down, bro? I don't understand why would they cut the trees down in the park, man. It looks like a desert. It looks weird to me, you know. But yeah.
Well, UC Berkeley is facing another setback for the university's plans to build more housing. A state appeals court issued an injunction today temporarily stopping construction over at People's Park.
KRON 4's Gail Long spoke to the president of the park's advocacy group that's involved in the appeal.
As of Friday, further demolition of the People's Park in Berkeley has come to a temporary halt after a state appeals court issued the injunction. People's Park Historic District Advocacy Group and another organization filed a lawsuit against UC Berkeley, contending the university failed to consider alternative locations for the proposed housing site that would destruct the historic People's Park.
We're hoping that they will look at the evidence that is presented.
Harvey Smith is the president of the Historic District Advocacy Group. The injunction comes just days after protesters clashed with police during the beginning stages of the project.
Tension has been, I think, really created by UC Berkeley. First of all, there was a little window that they sort of jumped through, you know, between the court order of the lower court and the time that we were going to file our appeal. I think they could assume appeal was coming.
I'm going to count to 10 in 2 different languages real quick, okay? Ana, tu, se, ne, tasop, yasop, ilgop, yodo, aup, tu. That's Korean. And each ni san yon go roku nana hachi kyu ju. That's Japanese. I have respect for Asian culture, and I have an honest, genuine support for the Stop Asian Hate movement. So if you guys feel like there's any type of division, I am gonna double down on having a Mandarin translation for my documentary immediately, and I even have somebody doing narration in the Mandarin. So, you know, for everybody that says, well, because this guy doesn't care about Stop Asian Hate, I'm not gonna support his cause, you guys, that's a fake reason. I care about equality and diversity across the board.
I approve you to use this footage in your documentary. 所以那天晚上，我是作为一个摄影记者，就在人民公园 People's Park 那里就看到UCPD 就是校园的警察带着很多建筑工人，然后一起在那个 People's Park 附近就盖上围栏。然后呢，很多示威者呢，就或者是反对这件事情的人士呢，就坐在地上，防止警察和那个建筑工人把这些围栏建起来。但是呢，中途呢就发生了很多冲突，然后有些警察呢就直接是把一些示威者带到一个没有人可以去进入的地方，然后呢，就外界的人也不知道他们发生什么事，反正是当时的警方，我们问警方他们到底做了什么，他们也就没有回应，所以我觉得这是一个很严重的违反新闻自由和摄影。
Yo.
Hey, what do you think about the fact that they keep raising your guys' tuition and cutting down the housing?
Hey, to ask her when I'm done. Ask me when I'm done. I'm doing my job. I gotta get up out of here.
The tuition, I don't know, inflation.
So just continue. What was happening?
所以就是我觉得这是一个很严重的违反新闻自由的那么一个行为，所以警方不应该这么做。然后就是虽然那天示威者不多，所以就是警方就和建筑工人很快就把那个围栏建起来。然后呢，其实当时还有很多的示威者都在那个公园里面，眼看着门快要被关上，他们也没有走，就他们也没有放弃夺回这块土地的利益。所以，但是呢，我知道那天晚上我就一直记录这件事件，但是我知道到明天的中午呢，我其实又去了那个地方，人民公园，然后之后那个示威者已经是完全的把那些那个围栏给拆掉了，警方也是因为示威者的人数众多而就拒绝就放弃了留守这个人民公园，所以就是最后到现在今天的情况就是示威者和一些本来就应该住在这个地方的人还是住在这个地方，只不过这个地方多了很多杂物，因为当晚的建筑工人就把树啊什么树枝啊都砍掉了，但是他们也从来没有出现过来收拾这些东西，所以我觉得当局应该留意，当局应该继续重视这些示威者和在那里生活的人的诉求，然后还他们一个有尊严的生活的地方。
What happened?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. What's your name again? Sorry.
David or David?
David?
Yeah. So, damn.
I have a dream. My 4 little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with the white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough place shall be made plain, and the crooked place shall be made straight, and the Lord's law shall be reviewed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is what faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hear the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discourse of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Thank you.
Hello, it's your boy Visual. I bring to you People's Park documentary, 53 Years of Resistance. And before we get into anything else, I'm going to show you that Martin Luther King came to Cal, and that freedom fighting and advocacy for the poor has always been a Berkeley thing. And I'm not just making this up, it's in the DNA. And in his speech at Cal, he said, "Thank you, Berkeley, for being the moral," he said, "Thank you, Berkeley, for being the moral compass to the educated community around the globe." So, Berkeley students, you have a responsibility to inherit the torch of being a moral compass. So, you guys, as Berkeley students, tell people what's right and wrong, and the rest of the world believes you. So, we're gonna get into more. But yeah, MLK at Cal. I'm not making this up.
I need not pause to say how very delighted I am to have the privilege of coming to this great institution of learning and the privilege of discussing with you some of the vital issues of our day. No one can overlook the fact that the University of California is one of the truly great universities of our world. I think one of the great needs in our world today, and certainly in our nation, is for the revolution of values. And I, for one, appreciate the fact that you here at Berkeley have constantly reminded all of us in our whole nation that we must review our values. And I would also like to express my deep personal appreciation to you as a civil rights leader for the support that you as a university and a concerned student body have given to the civil rights struggle, as we have labored tirelessly and unrelentingly to achieve first-class citizenship. We have had the support of persons of goodwill over our nation, and I would certainly say that some of the strongest support that we have received came from this great campus, this university with students who have a great concern. And I want to thank you because you, in a real sense, have been the conscience of the academic community in our nation. And I can only say, keep up
the good work and keep up this great concern.
You know, Hip Hop in the Park was one of our first performances as Los Racas. I heard they're closing that down, right? I heard it's like it's over with.
Yeah, people right now, they fought the construction, got them out of there. They seen, you know how to be tree huggers? So someone cut down a tree, and once that first tree hit, the riot started. They was like,
they were hella mad.
Yeah, they broke in, they fought the police, fought the construction, and basically like.
Yeah, I mean, shit. They probably been there since our parents' generation.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like, you know, when I imagine it, I know exactly what it looked like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I heard they were gonna close it down. They're gonna build like some apartments there or something.
Student housing, and they gonna keep grass on a lot of it. So they're acting like the park is still gonna be there because the grass is in the plan. But you know, you're gonna be trespassing. Like if you go there,
it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, nah,
yeah. I mean, they've wiped out the culture in the Bay though. To be honest, like it doesn't feel like how it used to feel. It just feels like real corporate, real quiet.
In the East Bay, Chopper 5 over People's Park, where construction on new student housing is on hold right now after a clash between protesters and police on Wednesday. 7 people were arrested, 2 officers got hurt, and now there's a debate over how law enforcement should handle the situation next time tensions flare there. KPIX5's Ann Makovic is live with more on a new controversy over an old law enforcement tool.
Yeah, Sarah, tear gas. The Berkeley City Council was going to have an emergency meeting tonight, potentially to authorize the use of gas and pepper spray. It's been banned in Berkeley since 2020. But then today, Berkeley's mayor replied to a tweet about it saying, quote, "I'm canceling the meeting. Our policy stands, and shame on the sheriff for threatening to not provide emergency support to Berkeley." So at issue here is 2 different law enforcement agencies and different policies on the use of tear gas. The city of Berkeley saying no, and I just spoke about it with the sheriff.
I explained to them, if you're calling us to assist with crowd control, realize that my teams are trained with deployment of tear gas, and we bring that with us, and I know that there's an issue with tear gas in the city of Berkeley.
Now, the sheriff's office actually did respond to People's Park yesterday. They had 16 people on scene supporting UC police. They did not deploy any tear gas, but they brought it because UC police do allow it. That's something that prompted the short-lived consideration in Berkeley, according to Mayor Jesse Arreguin.
That was why our police had requested that we consider suspending this policy so that we can get those mutual aid resources coming to Berkeley.
So what happened between the time that the special emergency meeting was called and it being called off that changed your mind on this?
I think what changed my mind is further reflection on whether we should prohibit this policy, speaking to some members of the city council, getting their input, and then talking with our police department about what other options do we have.
He said he has since spoken with the sheriff and been reassured that the sheriff's department will respond to the city's calls for help, tear gas in tow. Now, the mayor's glad he has that mutual aid option in his back pocket, but he does not want to change the city's official policy and that the sheriff's office might just then stay away from the front lines at a scene. He says this tear gas option is not going to be on the table in Berkeley again.
Remember, to respect this park. Don't let the regents in the city of Berkeley allow a bunch of criminals to come in here and be homeless and destroy things and hurt the neighbors. We don't want that. We want our park so we can have concerts, so we can have free speech, and we can bring the love back to the city of love, which is Berkeley. Okay, as Berkeley goes, so does the world. And this is a national landmark, whether people want to realize it or not. It is the original home of free speech in our country. So this park must be saved. And the people that have destroyed the trees, the endangered trees, you all need to go to prison because you've committed felonies. And that's where you need to be, because you can't do that. You can't just come in here and destroy endangered trees, endangered species, and everything else. This is going to stop, and we are going to win. The people are going to win for People's Park.
This is something that I want to touch on with the documentary. To you, I don't know what the official thing is, but to you, do you think that this qualifies as a national landmark?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think that different types of people are going to say different types of things of what qualifies as a national landmark. But as far as the importance to this city, I absolutely think it is. I mean, it's something that, you know, if you think of Berkeley, if I think of Berkeley, if most people that have spent time here think of Berkeley, you think of People's Park. You know, it's definitely a huge part of it.
Okay.
I think it's way more important to have a landmark, you know what I mean, something that has history, you know what I mean, than to pull something in here that's just gonna make money or whatever, you know what I mean. But at the same time, I don't know how the People's Park. I don't know if hip hop in the park was still going on. I don't know if this just became a place where homeless people would come. You know what I mean? But definitely it's important to keep a landmark, man. This is a landmark. When you think Berkeley, the People Park is one of those. Is one of those places. You know, I think they could have found a better solution. You know what I mean?
I think that student housing is important, but it's nowhere near the point where we need to completely demolish this park and build a new unit, right? If the school is really interested in prestige, the lack of housing creates an enrollment cap, which means that the school becomes more prestigious, harder to get into. So I don't get the argument how creating new housing here is going to make UC Berkeley more prestigious. I'm from Clark Kerr, all the way up the mountain. There's abandoned buildings that they haven't renovated that they can still use. There's extra land they're wasting. If they wanted to, they could demolish that, build a unit-style building, fit like 20 times as many students in there. It's just the university wants to get rid of this park or something.
Yo, bravo. Thank you. That was dope. And what's your name? And what's your name and social media, man?
My name's Aston, and you can find me on Instagram at AstonJT.
Yeah. Okay, that's what's up, man. Appreciate you. Well, you know, I'm feeling a little emotional right now because I'm thinking about the food I'm eating right now. I'm thinking about what's gonna be lost. You know. It makes me want to cry when I think about People's Park, what it represents, and losing what it represents. You know, I have a high value for freedom, and the reason I have a high value for freedom is I've always questioned places that aren't free and lack of free speech and places where you can't do what you want to do. And I believe that I've gone a little bit crazy, and I think the illness is just like needing freedom makes you ill in this country. And you have to obey massa. You have to fall in line. You have to respect the people you don't respect. You have to care about things you don't care about, or else. You know, and there is an or else. And, you know, Food Not Bombs is the type of place that'll feed you on the streets. Like, what if... I mean, I just remember being a 13-year-old running into them and asking them, can I eat too? You know, and I would see, like, people that don't look like me. You know, white people, old homeless veterans, and I was just like, yo, what's up, man? If I get in line, you gonna feed me too, you know? And they're just like, of course. What you mean? If you're hungry, grab a plate. And, you know, for me, that was a big symbol of, like, family. Like, when I see people, like, what you mean, grab a plate? Like, you just gonna feed me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gonna feed me? For what? They just like, because we don't believe in bombs. we don't believe in war. That's why, you know, we ain't got no explanation why we're gonna feed you. Just eat. And I thought about how much I value that, and how much that, you know, you think about, like, when you're hungry, you go to these places, you're like, hey man, I ain't got no money right now, I'll pay you back later. They be like, no, You deserve your hunger. You deserve to starve. If you starve to death, I don't care. That's the world we live in. And People's Park and Food Not Bombs, you know, the reality is that you're gonna be down and out sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And when you're down and out, you got people to help you get back up. I see these videos of these rich people and they don't look human to me. They look like robots. You know? It ain't, what type of people have never been hungry before?
Most of the fences ended up on the ground like this. Protesters took over People's Park in Berkeley on Wednesday and put construction of a new student housing project on hold for the day at least.
We're not going to stand here and let something so culturally significant and important just be taken away from us.
Last week,
I mean, like if you was like a 50% owner of the school,
yeah.
Honestly, you know, it would be real tempting to shut the shit down and do what you gotta do for more money.
No, I mean,
if you was the big dog and you had to calculate the math, would you come to the same conclusion?
I've ran through all the infographics. That's one of the things we do. We discredit a lot of the infographics and information that the university tries to push towards the students. It's really easy when we look up to them as our institution, as the education that's supposed to be teaching us and rising us up. But that's why we got to stay smart and continue to keep cross-checking and fact-checking the stuff that they're trying to say. Like I said, me personally, with the history and all the culture that's rooted in the park, how long it's been here and what it stands for, like Black Panthers have met here, activists have met here for decades, for years and years. Activists like me, activists I look up to, people I aspire to be like, and that's not something that we should just give away. This is something that's important.
For a long time, folks that have nowhere to live have called People's Park their home. How is it that we live in a world where we have golf courses that are acres of land to be able to play a sport when we can house almost the entire Bay Area in a few golf courses if we chose to? So there's people that have called People's Park their home for generations, that have fought for that space. That space is a sanctuary. It is sacred. It is people's home. And before it was People's Park, it was indigenous people's land. It was Ohlone and Mexica land. So yes, it's a landmark. Yes, it's sacred. No, we're not supposed to put a volleyball court on it. No, we're not supposed to put more housing. Berkeley has enough housing to house every single student and then some. Stop disrespecting historical places. That's what I think about People's Park.
All right, thank you. Homies empowerment.
We need people here right now. We need bodies occupying this space.
Others work to dismantle equipment abandoned by crews. Police detained at least 3 people, but say none of them went to jail.
These are trees. These give us life. These give us life, and we're going to cut them down. 5
years ago, UC Berkeley approved the People's Park housing project to provide 1,100 more beds for students at a university that is perpetually short of student housing. The plan also leaves some of the park as open space. But many neighbors, students, and alums say it's more important to preserve the park that was at the center of the 60s protests and the free speech movement.
This is the place where people fought to create nature and preserve something, and here we are cutting it down because no one really cares.
Luna Oxenberg, a Berkeley mom, says she probably won't resist for long because she has kids to take care of, but others vow to stay. Activists we talked to said that they were locked out of the park when the tree cutting began, and those who got back in here and who are here today sitting in trees say they will take these physical stands until they are forced to move.
My grandma was here during the initial People's Park riot, so I've heard firsthand accounts of, how important this land is to the people and to the students.
By late afternoon, police had withdrawn, and the university told us because of the violence and damage to equipment, it was pausing construction.
So I'm Bella. I'm a second year here at Berkeley. I'm also like a 4th generation Berkeley student. So my family's been here, And because of that, I've been hella connected to the park on all sides of my family, like this is a place that they grew up coming to. My grandma, when she first came out from New York, this was the first place that she came, and talking to her and hearing her experience at the park was like, this is one of the places that I felt most loved by people I've never even met in my life, She was sitting there around a campfire and they're feeding her, taking care of her for like 2 weeks. And you know, for me, that just shows that there's so much love here, and that's really like why I was so interested in it, is because I know that every single person here has love for each other. You know, regardless of the disputes, regardless of what happens, it's like we're here because we love nature, we love this planet, and we love each other. So,
You know, some people in power, they say, why are you here? Like, for example, if somebody at UC Berkeley, they're like, well, if you disagree, why are you here? What entitlement do you feel to be at the school and disagree with what the dean is doing, you know?
I mean, that's my right, you know, like freedom of speech, that's my right, but also like, for me, like I've always known who I am, to a certain extent, you know, we're always learning who we are every single day, but like I've always known I want to be a revolutionary, you know, to and through, and ultimately like, this is a place where revolution has been, and I'm not going to just sit here and let that get taken away from me and from my people and from everyone, because ultimately like we're all here, we're all connected, regardless of race, regardless of our age, whatever. It's like we're all.
What message do you have for the student allies? What do you have for people that say that they're for saving People's Park, that go to UC Berkeley, but they may not have the passion that you have? How can you, what's your message for them?
Well, there's not an equivalence. You know, I am myself a UC Berkeley alumnus. You know, I was a double major in English and rhetoric, a departmental scholar in the English department. You know, I went through the same kind of trials they went to, but I was also homeless since I was 11. You know, and on the streets off and on, and didn't even, my first semester in community college I spent in a tent in the Tahoe National Forest writing my papers. I think ultimately they need to be better allies, you know, understand they're coming into a community space where people have known each other for decades, you know, and that their understanding of the world and their ideologies might not necessarily click here, and they might want to sacrifice that for the greater, you know, ethical concerns of the folks here, because there's been a lot of, you know, I feel conflicting ideologies that come from a certain youthful naivety. You know, the fact that they haven't really, a lot of them never been to jail. You know, there's a whole incident, I'm not going to go into it, where a bunch of folks try to get me in jail, and so I filed a citizen's arrest to kind of counter the narrative, because I wasn't going to go fucking back to jail. Fuck that. And then it becomes this huge thing, you know, he filed a citizen's arrest, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, folks, you get put in handcuffs, you get thrown in a cell, you get treated like a dog for a couple of days, and you tell me, like, what kind of grounds you'll be on. And that's really the thing. There's a lot of theory and not a lot of praxis. And I've tried my best, you know, to give these students a pragmatic view of the park, you know, like as it is, and how to work with it as it is so it can be productive. You know, I'm glad they're here helping. You know, I wish they wouldn't, you know, I just don't know, honestly. I could care less. In the end, I keep telling folks, it's the strangers that come in outside the community that are on the front lines with me, breaking through the cops and maybe allegedly punching a cop, and doing those things. Every protest I've ever been in Berkeley, and I've been in so many, it's not my community members here, it's not the Quakers, it's not the nonviolent folks, it's none of those. It's the people outside. And those are who I rely on. It's not the people that talk a lot and don't get the work done. Because I don't really have time for that. You know, there's a lot of people that hang out at the info booth and talk and hang out, you know, like to spread the word at People's Park. Or the people on Sprout, like, I handed out 800 leaflets. Like, I'm great. Me and a bunch of elders picked up trash all day. You know, me and a bunch of elders, like Charles Gray is continual, and Lisa, it's just, the dissonance is striking. And it's frustrating for me, and so I don't really have that great of a relationship, frankly, with the students. Some of them, but not many of them. You know, I think your work speaks louder than your words. Right now, I hear a lot of words, a lot of fucking words, but I don't see a lot of action anymore. Like, where are the students right now? Did you see any of them?
Nope.
I didn't. I haven't seen them for a minute.
As a little boy, all I ever wanted to do was perform a hip hop in the park. It might not happen. What you need, what you need, what you need, what you need, what you need. We need this freedom the speech, man, that's what we need. Free speech, free speech. Leave this park alone, we got free speech. Free speech, free speech. Keep People's Park alive, we need freedom of speech. Free speech, free speech. Leave People's Park alone, cause I need free speech. Free speech, free speech. I need freedom of speech. I need freedom of speech. I'm a bust of freestyle.
Purchase
Been
your
coming to
tracks
this park
today.
since a child. But you already know, man, this shit get wild. I ain't even tripping, man, you know what I'm about. You know what's going down. Off top, man, represent for the brown. I ain't even tripping, man, you know I'm in the town. You already know it's going down. Yeah, we gon' get the tractor just like that, and we gon' park it down. Somebody give me a tow truck to tow the tractor. It's your boy Davizzle, I'm an Alameda factor. B-Town, that's my second home. You already know, man, just leave me alone. Don't make me pull up, yup, with the chrome. I ain't even tripping, man, I put it to your dome. It's your boy David, you already know, man, I used to smoke weed. Right now, I'm just tripping off of my money. But you already know, man, I let the park free. Let the park be free.
Purchase your tracks
Let the park
today.
be free. Leave this park alone, we need freedom of speech. Let the park be free. Let the park be free. Leave this park alone, we need freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Free speech. Leave the park alone, cause we need free speech. Free speech. Free speech. They gonna kill me for my words, but I need free speech. Free speech. Free speech. They wanna kill me for my position, but I just want peace. Free speech. Free speech. I'm a nonviolent protester, don't let them kill me.
Was it the first store that held your hard copies?
Yeah. For sure.
Rasputin?
Rasputin and Amoeba, like at the same time.
Yeah, y'all was probably, they just noticed y'all. It was like, had to fuck with you.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope because I remember we were at that youth program called Bump Records. So they had just opened up Youth Uprising, and then we were already part of the program for maybe like a year, doing probably like 2 years in, and then we came up with the idea to present to them about creating a CD, like just us though. You feel me? Because usually they would do it with like a compilation with all the kids.
Well, you know, sometimes I don't blame the students for not knowing, you know what I mean? Because if nobody taught them how they know. It's like when a lot of people don't think that we're black, you know, like people here in the United States. They be like, hey, but you're not black, you know, but it's because they haven't been taught about Afro-Latinos, you know what I mean? That's why we go so hard on our music and in our interviews and represent our culture, because I know a lot of people just don't have the knowledge about it, you know. So yeah, it's just sad, man. It's sad when something so important, something more so monumental, like People's Park gets forgotten about. You know what I mean? But it's up to you, man. You know, people like you know, that is gonna bring the knowledge and bring awareness of what's going on. So I salute you for what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so last question. Have you heard the little
Serving People's Park.
So we're talking about an actual historical landmark. I think there was debate about whether it was just a landmark, a California landmark, or a national landmark. This is official now.
Yeah, the history is it's been a Berkeley landmark since the 1980s. And so our group, People's Park Historic District Advocacy Group, worked for over a couple of years to put together an application to the National Park Service. That has to go through the State Office of Historic Preservation. It was unanimously approved at that level and then sent off to Washington, where they in turn approved it. So it is on the National Register of Historic Places. It's a National Historic Site.
So would it be fair to say that the UC Berkeley, that UC Berkeley owning this is equivalent to UC Berkeley inheriting or owning a museum? Just because they own it doesn't mean they get to knock it down.
Yeah, you could say that. You know, every, I think, entity, every city, you know, every county, every state values its historic monuments, its historic buildings.
A short-term victory for the activists. Meanwhile, the city of Berkeley is providing shelter for 18 months at a nearby hotel for anyone who was living at the park and displaced by the construction. In Berkeley, Tom Jensen, NBC Bay Area News.
Start talking about Roadway. How, so you are a resident at Roadway Inn.
Yes.
You were recruited there from here. Yes. Okay, did they make some promises that they didn't really keep? Or just tell me how they got you there and tell me your experience there.
I got there by Ari, that's supposed to be the worker here, and there was things that was promised to me there that they were going to do, like basically keep me safe, keep me out of harm's way, basically make sure I get my bus tickets, and basically make sure I have my way to get to places, which they only give me one ticket. And they gave this girl named Selena more than one ticket. They gave at least like 4 or 5 bus tickets, and they just gave me one. And then it's like the next day they give me one way or one ride instead of all day pass. And I'm like, okay, but I have court, so y'all give this woman all these bus passes, and I don't get none.
Right.
So basically, they treated me like some person just backlash. They just racial profile me.
Right.
So I had a little, relationship issues and with my partner. And it's like I basically exited them out all my feelings. So they don't need to be having people sitting there having curfew. People should be able to have their own key stay room, come in when they want to. They shouldn't have no reason to stay out till like 6 something in the morning. I feel like why they have these security guards letting us in our room? That's not cool. They should allow us to have our own privacy, our own key, and our own way to come back in.
Right.
And we shouldn't have no reason to be coming in at no 6 o'clock in the morning.
So if you're past like 10 o'clock, you can't come back in until 6?
You can come back at 12 o'clock. You can't even come in at 3 o'clock at all. And they call that breaking the rule.
So they'd rather let you stay outside?
Yeah. They won't even let you back in.
All right.
I think that's unfair.
So do you feel like it's a good option for the homeless, or do you feel like it's just a scam a little bit?
It's a scam, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's like more like prison. Curfew time, and can't come back in, and they keep you outside. If you leave, you can't come back in. And that's not cool. They let the security guards let us in. I'm like, what kind of shit is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, usually if we're in a shelter, we have our own key. And that's not right.
Yeah. Damn. All right, well, that's all I needed to know. Thank you very much. Who are you again? Tell me.
Sherelle Jones.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Cut.
Yeah, of course, you can take it, but so it can affect my job. You can take it. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just do it. I mean, I cannot stop you take a picture, but just do my job because there's a camera, so I'm talking to you.
Right.
Yeah, you can stay somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Take a picture.
Yeah. I mean, I'm almost done. I just need a clip real quick. I'm rolling right now. I got to use everything that I got. So the more you talk to me, the more I'm rolling. I'm on the sidewalk, bro. You can't really remove me from the sidewalk. You don't have the authority. Sorry. Hello? For real, but say fence. Fence. This is the fence they tried to close the park with. Yeah! Revolution. Revolution. Say revolution. 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 So you guys came to this school with an admiration for the history of UC Berkeley. And I just want to encourage you guys that it's very relevant for you guys to keep the history of UC Berkeley relevant. Racial equity, diversity, and feeding the homeless are instrumental in a society. Right now, you guys have People's Park, a diverse place. It's a diverse place, and it includes racial equity and class equity. The poor are here because of People's Park. And I want to just remind you guys gently that if you get rid of this place, People's Park, you will be that much less diverse. If you guys become less diverse, I know you think, well, more rich kids increases our value. But the reality is, if you get rid of the diversity, then you will create a need for racial equity. And your need for racial equity will defeat the whole purpose. It could be expensive to create racially equitable jobs. It could be held against you guys for not being diverse in the worldwide scheme of things. So I really want to encourage you guys to take this as relevant. And some of you guys say, well, the chancellor disagrees with you guys. But this is the same chancellor that wanted Ben Sharpio and Milo Wilenopkis, whatever his last name, the Chancellor Carol Christ, she wanted Ben Sharpio here. She was mad when you guys got rid of Milo. So since when has Berkeley been afraid to disagree with the chancellor? Because when she disagreed with you guys about Ben Sharpio, it was all up in flames. Now, I personally, I like the chancellor. I'm not here to protest the chancellor. I don't want no one to throw an egg or a rotten tomato. I think we should all talk, but I think that at the end of the conversation, you will see the importance of diversity, and you'll see the importance of feeding the homeless. A lot of people don't know People's Park feeds the homeless. Now, a lot of you guys are mad that there's homeless in the community, and you're mad that there's drugs in the community. But how can we feed the homeless without the homeless?
It's gonna be a quickie. Watch. Yeah. Rest in peace to the Jack. Rest in peace to the J.A. Fuck what they talking about, we gon' bring it back for the Jack. Yeah, backwoods, back to back, man. We on 9-4 and Jack, man. For the Jack. We doing it for Mac Dre. Real legends never die, know where you at, it's the Jack. Yeah, backwoods, back to back, man. We on 9-4 and Jack. Jack at the top of the style had to move them pounds. Back when DB came out with Knock You Down. When Mac Dre died, the Jacker held his crown. When Mac Dre died, the Jacker held his crown. I don't really listen when I hear what they say. You ain't see the vision, you wasn't living in the Bay. Hustler went to prison, but we still had the J.A. Sometimes I rob gangsters, man, that's all we used to play. I do it for the gangsters, but don't set trip on me. Dumbasses, baby, smart but stupid in the streets. M.O.B. in peace, M.O.B. in peace. It'll never be the same in the streets. Rest in peace to the Jack. Rest in peace to the J.A. Fuck what they talking about, we gon' bring it back for the Jack. Yeah, backwoods, back to back, man. We on 9-4 and Jack, man. Jack for the Jack. We doing it for Mac Dre. Real legends never die, know where you at, it's the Jack. Yeah, backwoods, back to back, man. We on 9-4 and Jack. I was a youngster lost, ready to pay the cost. Guns, dope, and religion taught me to be a boss. You said you never heard of Jack, what you lying for? He said you know I got that Barney purple dinosaur. A bae nigga made your bitch lay on her back. We taught y'all all how to Mac Jack, rapping trap. These niggas don't wanna pay homage, they could die for that. These niggas don't wanna pay homage, they could die for that.
Got a crowd around you. Now you're the baddest thing I've seen tonight, so come on, girl, let's put it